Hey there, this is K4A, Knowledge for All educational videos and tutorials. Today I will try to show you how and when you can use Scratch block, which is called Set Volume 2. As its name says, it's the block which will help you about sound and about volume, and we have learned about volume block in previous video. We have learned that block gives us the number of how loud our game is, as for example you watch a movie on TV, and sometimes you need volume turned up, sometimes you need the volume turned down. Same goes with games need a volume higher or lower, and you need sometimes to turn it off completely, or sometimes to raise it up and to have it louder when you play some kind of game with great soundtrack or sound effects and so on. So same goes with Scratch, and by default this volume was 100%, and we haven't learned how to control it yet, so we will do that now. And again, don't confuse that with loudness. Loudness will depend on your microphone input, so it goes through your microphone, and that's this loudness number that represents loudness number, and volume is the volume of your game, the music and sound effects in your game. So this block goes by the name Set Volume 2, some percentage, and I will click and drag it to cat, or even better to maybe we can show some example where we put, I will use button 1, green button. I will put that on my top right corner and make it a little bit smaller, like 65 size. This looks better now. So what do I want to do now? I want to code some kind of soundtrack in my game. So when my game starts, when the green flag is clicked, play some sound, and if I put play sound pop, it will go only once. And I even have my cat because I have added that one too, so I will detach it. So if I play this, this isn't soundtrack, this is sound effect. It goes only once, so I need forever to make this repeat itself endlessly. So when the game starts, forever play this sound. But this is awful, this is so ugly, so I need to change it. How will I change this pop to some other sound or soundtrack? You have this, if you click on this arrow, you have record, so you can record your own voice song, you singing or you playing some kind of instrument. That's your choice. Or even better, you can click on this sound button, sounds, here in top left corner of your screen. So it's code, it's costumes, and it's sounds. So go to sounds button, and then in bottom left corner you have couple of options. You can upload your music and sounds. Surprise gives you some random sound. Record, you can record yourself through the microphone. Choose a sound, and that's what I'm going to do. I will try to find some kind of longer sound, some kind of longer music, which will help me have soundtrack for my game. Most of those soundtracks in games, especially in shorter ones, they go in loops. Loops means they will, when they end, they will start again. So they go in loop endlessly, like recycle button. When you end, go again. When you end, go again, and so on. So it's like forever. So you don't hear the stopping. It's like a never-ending loop. And I will use can hover over those play buttons and you will hear. Yeah, I will use Dance Funky for example. So I have clicked on it and I have selected it, but I have to go to code and select it there also. So instead of pop, I will say play dance funky sound until dawn forever. And this works, I think it will work. So when it ends, it goes again. So it's, yeah, you can see a little bit of stopping, but it's okay. So this is cool, but for most of games you will need to have some kind of control when you want to stop the sounds. So for example, I'm playing this game in my room and someone enters it and wants to talk to me, and because this is too loud, he said, okay, can you please stop that music, that game, I want to talk to you. And I'm like, okay, I cannot stop the game, I was playing this game too long, I need to finish it. But the problem is here that I cannot even stop the sound. So let's try to add some kind of button which will stop the sound, not the games. That's what we're trying to do here. Stop the sound only, stop the sound, not the game. First of all, I want to change the name of the sprite. Instead of button 1, saying button soundtrack, and after that I want to show the volume of it by clicking this checkbox which we have learned in previous video. So now I have button soundtrack volume shown on the screen, sorry, and it says 100%, and it doesn't matter if I start the game, it won't change, it's always on the max. Okay, so I want this button to do what? When I click on this button, okay, let me find that event first. When the sprite is clicked, great. Here I want to do what? I want to stop my sound. I have my sound, my volume here playing. Volume is 100%, that is max. So the 0 would probably be stopping the sound. If 100 is maximum 100%, 0 is stop it, don't play it. So let's turn this volume to 100%, that's default. Let's turn it to 0 and see what happens now. When the sprite is clicked, set volume to 0. And you can hear it stops. It actually doesn't stop. You can see the sound is still playing, but the volume is 0. So we have coded very simple way to set the volume to 0, and that way turn the soundtrack off. That was relatively short, but let me just try a couple of other things here. Yeah, play the sound, and maybe I need to stop all sounds. I don't know if we have learned that before. I think we did, so that will also stop this sound. Yeah, another problem, because you can see when I clicked on this sprite, I set the volume to 0 and I don't hear it now, and that was cool when I was playing the game for the first time. But the problem is when I start my game again, I don't hear the sound again. Why is that so? Because this was the last value which we have set volume to. We said set the volume to 0, and we never ever said, okay, when the game starts, bring it back to 100% again. So I need this one again. When the game starts, first turn the volume to 100% and then play the soundtrack, and then if I click on sprite, set the volume to 0. But when the game starts, always set it to 100%. So let's try that a couple of times to see if that works. Stop it, start it again, stop it with my set volume to 0. Cool, so this works now. When I start and stop the button and start and stop the game. It all works as I want, and I can add stop all sounds, no problem. The problem here is, it's not the problem. The one thing which I want to show you is that, yeah, sorry, you can see now button soundtrack volume is 0, so let me try that again. So now my volume is 0, and when I click on this set volume to 0%, check this number here. Cool, that's what I wanted. But what other possibilities do I have here? Scratch is great because he is stopping the volume only on the sound which you have coded to that sprite exactly. So in my case, I have coded this soundtrack to my button soundtrack, but my cat can have its own volume and sounds, my bananas can have its own volume and sounds. And you can see that even on the screen. Even though my soundtrack is 0, my bananas volume is 100% and my cat volume is 100%. So let's try to add some kind of sound effects to bananas and cat. So for example, bananas, when the sprite is clicked, when I click on bananas, play sound chomp. Yeah, I like this one. And I will copy, duplicate this sprite by right clicking, oops, duplicate, and again, and put them here. And now I will try to start my game. I think this will work independently. So the thing which I want to show here is that all of those sounds and volumes are controlled by your code independently on every sprite. So sprite cat has its own volume, you can control it and define it in that code. Sprite bananas have its own volume and you can control it and code it in the banana sprite, and sprite button soundtrack, it has its own volume which we will see here on the screen. So my soundtrack here is now 100%. I will stop it with clicking on the button. So now it's 0, I don't hear the soundtrack, that's cool. So the people around me are not annoyed anymore, they can do their own thing, talk or whatever. I can play my game and don't bother them. But the character on the screen, cat, and these enemies, bananas, they have their volume here. So when I click on them, you can see I still have my sound effects here. So my sound effects on my bananas work. And not even that, I can even control them more. So instead of hearing them that loud, I can set volume to 50% to hear them. Yeah, because I have duplicated them. Yeah, this one will, yeah, that's also not a bad example. This one will be now with lower volume, and this one with higher. So I can have, for example, for some reason, I don't have a reason here in my game so far, but you can again, depending on what you need in your game, you can go crazy with all of this. So for example, this one, first banana, can go with set volume 100%. This one, second banana, go with, I think I can go with even 300%. No, 100 is, it seems 100 is max. And this third one could be really low, like 10%. That will be almost silent. So let's try that. You can almost, you even almost don't hear this one. Yeah, cool. So again, yeah, we can put the second one to 50% and the first one will be 100%. So the first banana has volume 100%, the second 50, and the third one is 10. So you can almost, yeah, for some reasons. So for example, you can have enemies like zombies or some kind of monster which are louder than others. So this one will be silent monster, set volume to 10%. This one will be like, I don't know, bigger monster, and this one will be the monster boss. This one will have the most the loudest, the highest volume. So that's it for this video. Again, think about this volume as the volume on your TV when you watch the movie, the on your PC when you play the game, and you sometimes want to turn it off like we did here with set volume to 0 and stop all sounds, and sometimes you will want to turn it up. Um, we will see a couple of different blocks about controlling the volume. I think there are 2 or 3 more to control the volume even more, but again, it's only about sound. So if you don't need those, cool, don't use them. Simple as that. See you in the next video, and bye for now.